the way up? Or?
Of course.
What'd you take from him?
He was my era. You know, the whole hit, not get hit, and to make the adjustments that he's made to certain fighters. You know, he's...
Mayweather had the most important visit for Terence Crawford as he got ready for the big fight in September. He surprised him in training camp. Floyd Mayweather, a boxing legend who has never lost, is visiting Terence Crawford's training camp. This makes it certain that Crawford will beat Canelo in September. Floyd Mayweather's support for a boxer who has a chance to beat his record of 50 wins and 0 losses is a great thing to do. They are the only two fighters to beat Canelo Alvarez. Floyd Mayweather was the first person to do this. His time in Crawford's gym was meant to teach him the skills and information he would need to win on fight night. Crawford is good enough to fight Alvarez, but he would do better if he had more help. Mayweather mostly worked on his footwork to get better at moving around.
So, you think you guys got a lot in common?
In some aspects, yeah, we do.
How are you guys different?
We both boxing. I think, you know, I take more.
If I take Floyd Mayweather in his absolute prime, and I take Manny Pacquiao in his absolute prime,
Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd still beats him.
Well, Floyd beat everybody.
You don't believe there's a guy at 140, 147 in the history of boxing that could have beat Floyd in his prime?
It'd be tough. Floyd, man, that boy, man, that's the GOAT, man. That boy bad.
What makes it? I mean, what? Because and I told people to say, look at Floyd. I said, Floyd is not that he trains. I mean, it's his life, and from the very beginning, he's like, I want to be.
Mobility is one quality shared by Mayweather and Divil, the two fighters who defeated Canelo, and in order to win, Crawford must also become very mobile and use his footwork to hit and not be hit. Otherwise, he will only frustrate and irritate Canelo. And when Mayweather was asked to predict the fight after training, he had no doubts that Terence Crawford would win. I bet on Bivol to beat Canelo, and he will remember that Crawford has what it takes to beat him. I'm also doing it on Crawford. I've definitely been making money lately. In an interview, Floyd Mayweather recalled his famous fight against Canelo Alvarez in the weight class.
Gave the sport of boxing their whole life and sacrificed a lot inside that square circle. They should feel that way. So if he feel that way, you know, more power to him. I had one fight, and the fight wasn't actually...
I had one bout, which was at a catchweight, but it was not my plan. This was a story, so anyone can look it up online. So, with Canelo, I think he once assumed I was terrified of him, so he said, Floyd does not want to fight me. I am willing to meet him at 152 or 152 pounds. And I called his bluff, saying, if you want to do it, let's do it at 152 or 152 and 1/2. But once Canelo made the weight, it wasn't like there was a condition saying he couldn't gain weight. He weighed 152 or 152 and 1/2. I believe he came in at 168 or close to 170. Well, I came in at 151 or 152.
It was at a catchweight, but it wasn't my idea. So at one particular time, you guys can, anybody, you can go online and pull this up. It was an article. So with Canelo said, I believe Canelo at one particular time thought I was scared of him. You know?
Perhaps Terence Crawford felt this was adequate for him as well, given how much he had to study about the new weight class he'll be going to in less than a month. Despite the fact that boxing fans have drawn stark similarities between Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Terence Crawford, but refuse to rob the 50-0 boxing champion of his due honor. Terence Crawford admires Floyd Mayweather, and when asked about their similarities, he had a few further words. Crawford hailed the monarch and accepted Floyd's greatness. He went on, "We have quite a lot in common in some aspects, but we're a little different because I take more chances." Earlier in his career, he also took a lot of risks. It just depends on which Floyd Mayweather you're talking to. I mean, are you talking about Money or Pretty Bo? Because Pretty Bo was the seeking destroyer, he began to suffer hand injuries, making it difficult for him to keep the same level of power as he advanced and fought larger.
Excuse me, Crawford.
You know, right now, but earlier in his career, he was taking a lot of chances as well. So, you know, it just depends on which Floyd Mayweather you talk about. If you talk about Money or do you talk about Pretty Boy? Because Pretty Boy was the seek and destroy.
As Crawford stated, they have a lot in common. Nonetheless, boxing fans and supporters have compared both boxes to determine who is the better fighter. And when they did, a news source predicted Crawford as the likely winner of a bout between the two fighters. When it comes to pure boxing talent, Floyd Mayweather Jr. is hard to beat for producing more sweet science master lectures. Mayweather's clean jab, exact timing, and counter-punching ability allowed him to pick apart his long list of opponents, and he did so over two versions of himself. Just as Crawford said, Pretty Bo, Floyd was the more aggressive boxer, taking the fight to opponents, whereas Money Mayweather would later compete and outperform opponents with superb boxing skills. Regardless of your preferred style, both bodies of work added to Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s legendary status. Boxing fans are still in of Crawford's showing against Spence in his last fight.
He drops him again. That's a hard knockdown that time with the left hook. How about that? Keeps battling, falling forward. Uppercut. Terrence Crawford has stopped Yuri.
Whether it was a power jab that he regularly snapped past Spence's guard, hitting in traffic, or the timing of his counterpunches, but showed incredible boxing ability, which was not unusual, but we've never seen it like that against a boxer of Spence's caliber. When it comes to pure boxing ability, no one should underestimate Mayweather, but Crawford's style of boxing is unique, effective, and even explosive in his own right. So how would their boxing stack up if Crawford fought Mayweather in his prime and used his lasering shots against Mayweather's disciplined sweet science? Who would start the jab first? Who would be the better counter-puncher? There are so many possible outcomes for this category that it may be preferable to call it a draw. How many times have we seen Mayweather lull and finally entice his opponents to the center of the ring, where he computed information, analyzed it, and uploaded a blueprint to tear them apart? Mayweather used his ring IQ and motto of hit and not get hit to write himself into the Hall of Fame as an undefeated 5-division world champion. Crawford, who was crowned undisputed at junior welterweight and now welterweight, has displayed a strong ring IQ throughout his career. Mayweather showed hand speed, particularly on the counterpunching end, but Crawford's slicing angles and whiplashing delivery give but the speed advantage. Of Mayweather's 50 wins, 27 were knockouts. That compared to Crawford's 40 wins, 31 of which came via knockout. And he is still competing today. Return to Crawford's control over Spence, who dropped him 3 times en route to a decisive 9th round TKO.
Hook, you want to change you want to hook from the hips. So when you hook, boom. This toe gonna go up and this one gonna go down. So you hear and it's gonna go boom. So you can do a 45 or you can do straight. You come straight from the shoulders, boom. Open it up a little bit, bam. But get that, there you go. So, yeah, so you wanna come, everything you do, you wanna come from the shoulders, boom. Just turn it. When you coming in there, you hear, boom. And that's where that torque gonna come from. The hips, your legs, all the way up in there.
Destroying a power-punching, body-snatching fighter like Spence, who ruthlessly destroyed Kell Brook, Sean Porter and Dennis Hughes to become the unified world welterweight champion was anything but easy, yet Crawford made it look easy. And his power was a big reason why Mayweather painted in the corner, raising that shoulder into the Philly shell and absorbing shots with his arm, while using his free hand to pick his punches was defensive boxing turned counter-punching at its very best. Crawford has some good defense to him as well, but Mayweather took defensive boxing However, with a consistent flow of pressure, Crawford's firepower might rarely affect Mayweather. As close as this bout appears to be, Crawford's fighting skills and those whiplashing blows may be enough to have judges credit him for his pressure and volume on the way to a points victory over Mayweather's style of boxing. Crawford's approach to training for his fight against Canelo Alvarez blends hard physical preparation with a great mental game, distinguishing him in the boxing world. Crawford's current training regimen is a diversified set of activities meant to improve his boxing skills, maintain peak physical condition, create punch power, and make him grow the necessary weight to challenge Canelo Alvarez. A normal day in the champ's training routine includes circuit training with weights, strength and conditioning workouts to promote speed and agility, and core work, in which McIntyre bounces a heavy medicine ball off Crawford's stomach while doing crunches, mountain runs and swimming in a stream. Crawford likes swimming for cardiac training and will swim for 30 to 60 minutes every night. It is non-impact, gentle on their joints, and helps in the healing and regeneration of muscle cells and fibers. It is not normal for him, therefore he must work a little more. It's a different form of exercise than running. I think it significantly improves cardio performance. He then continues his boxing lessons. Crawford is constantly trying to enhance his offensive and defensive moves, as evidenced by his pad practice. One of his distinguishing features is his ability to quickly convert between two different fighting positions. At first, his coaches tried to persuade him to take one posture, but they finally realized it was preferable to train him in both. He still practices this way today. When boxers prepare for a fight, they frequently practice with other fighters to improve. This was especially true for Terence Crawford early in his career. He was so good even great fighters such as Timothy Bradley were impressed. Terence is now one of the world's top boxers, and other fighters seek him out to spar. They don't usually win, though, because Terence is so skilled. Terence is usually right-handed, yet he also fights well with his left hand. Crawford frequently counts on his world-class left hand when sparring with other boxers. Boxing aficionados understand that improving punching power takes a lot of work. The heavy bag is a common instrument used for this reason. Crawford, a great boxer, is no exception. Crawford uses a heavy bag to improve his striking technique and arm endurance. Watching Terence in action, you can see him execute tremendous blows, rapid combinations, and everything in between. Sweet he made more head moves, thus he was better at sliding punches and making you miss. But Floyd was the best on defense, catching, countering, slipping, and hitting you with shots you don't see. Floyd is an expert at getting the most out of his exercise. Crawford changes the rhythm of his blows, sometimes hitting the bag softly and sometimes with full force. This is a common practice that helps him to strengthen his overall boxing abilities. Crawford has been training with his teachers for the whole of his life. One of the most important aspects of his training is working on the pads with his coaches. During these sessions, he does not concentrate on hitting hard or quickly. Instead, he focuses on different offensive and defensive scenarios, emphasizing technique and strategy. Crawford and his trainers also use training aids such as response noodles and a punch shield to improve their movement and precision. Terence Crawford is a fantastic shadow boxer with outstanding skills. One of the things that distinguishes him is his ability to stay calm and adapt to changing events in the ring.
Sweet Pea had more head movement, so Sweet Pea was better at slipping punches, making you miss.
Right.
But Floyd on defense, like catch, bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
You know, Floyd hands down. Then making you pay, catching counter, catching, slipping. You know what I mean? Like hitting you with shots that you don't see. Like that's where Floyd mastered.
He's skilled at throwing offensive and defensive punches that look smooth, but that's not all. Crawford is also immensely mentally tough. He will frequently train in really difficult conditions in order to push himself further, and when he is not doing so, he enjoys shadowboxing with light 2 kilograms bags. These help him gain strength while remaining fast and graceful, allowing him to strike forcefully while being quick on his feet. Crawford is constantly trying to improve his precision and timing. To accomplish this, he trains using a unique bag known as the double-end bag. It allows him to perfect his footwork and head movement, both of which are important qualities in the boxing ring. Mikey Garcia, the younger brother of Ring Magazine's Manager of the Year winner, Robert Garcia, was one such skeptic. The former featherweight, super featherweight, lightweight, and super lightweight champion told Fight Hub TV that he did not fully support the fight, despite it being one of the most anticipated by fans of the sport. "I'm not a big fan of that fight," Garcia emphasized the weight gap between the Mexican and the American, remembering how Crawford struggled against Israel Madrimov after jumping up to 150 for pounds. 3 divisions.
Too many weight classes apart. And although the skills, Crawford is one of the best fighters that I've seen. Now, Canelo is, fighting at 168. Crawford just moved up to 154, and he had some trouble with that in that fight. Now, where do you plan on going? 164, 65, 66?
Yeah.
Canelo ain't gonna come down to 160.
Yeah,
Canelo ain't gonna come down.
Despite Crawford's apparent greater skills, Garcia thinks that size will be the deciding factor in any hypothetical clash. The Mexican fighter's power and bulk are expected to give him an advantage. That's why I don't like that tension. I believe Crawford has completed everything he needed to from 140 to 147, and now 154 is much more important for him. Garcia went further. If Crawford really wants to push himself, he could go the route of an undisputed fight in his current division. He did, however, say that there is an issue, but there is no money in it. Garcia recognized that a fight between Canelo and Crawford would generate significant income, that as a fight fan, he is opposed to the matchup, stating that he would rather see Alvarez face fighters in his weight class or higher, such as Artur Beterbiev or a rematch with Dimitri Bivol.
Maybe 166 max if he accepts. I think Canelo wins that fight based on just the size, power and size. Now, skill-wise, I think Crawford's a better skilled fighter, but the difference in size will be the deciding factor, and that's why I'm not even a fan of that fight. I think Crawford has accomplished everything he had to accomplish. From 140, 147, now 154. That's even greater for him. He wants to do something, collect belts at 154. He can attempt that, but there's no money in that compared to the Canelo fight. And Canelo just trying to fight other guys, and
he wants to test himself by stepping up to 175 pounds again and fighting against those fighters rather than a smaller man moving up in weight. Garcia explained, and that's it for now. Stay up to current on boxing news, moments, events, and activities by subscribing to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to switch on notifications to be told when we post quality material like this.